No! I just want my money back! Come on! Well, can I exchange it?
Yeah, sure.
Good. What can I exchange it for?
Anything from the used shelf.
They're in the attic!
The world premiere in Delhi. So at this point, I'd like to take a few questions. If anyone has any questions in the audience, we're going to have a microphone here.
First of all, congratulations, amazing shots. I just wanted to ask you that you started your animation from it looks like it's a concept based. It's not just based on the technique. I know a lot of animators who wants to try these kind of things, but they are hesitant to do so because today these things, you must be knowing that 3D and CGI, these things are so heavy, so they hesitate to take up the step. So what is your suggestion for these kind of animators who want to try the concepts first, like the way you did, and you became a success? But there are a lot of people, a lot of animators who just have been hesitant to do it. I am saying all this because I've personally experienced it. I have also tried making animations on concept based. So whatever success I've got little from these kind of shots. So that is what I would like to ask you.
Okay, well there's two different ways to kind of get into animation. There's the kind of the top level concept where you do it yourself, you make a quick animation, you get the ideas, you get the voice acting, you control the concept. And the other way to get into animation is to be part of the animation pipeline for a company like Pixar or Disney, where your job is to be a lighting technician or an animator or a rigger or a modeler. And I went to animation school, so I have a lot of experience as well with the more traditional aspects of an animation company. And depending on what you want to get into, you can either go very broad or very specialized with animation. So when we're hiring an animator, we're looking for specialized. We're looking for somebody who can animate really well or draw backgrounds really well. But when it comes to getting into animation as an idea kind of person, it's actually never been easier because you have sites like YouTube, you have Newgrounds, you have Facebook video now. If you can find a copy of Flash or one of its many counterparts, it's fairly straightforward to make a simple looking animation, even black and white storyboard animation like that. And it's just as easy to put it online. It's just a few clicks and it's on YouTube where people can find it. So getting your stuff out there as a creator, it comes down to what kind of style you want to animate in. Is it something you can do by yourself, or is it something that's going to cost money? Is it something complicated where it needs to be full 3D? You're going to need to hire a studio to make it. If your vision is very artistically inclined, then you might not be able to do it yourself. You might need to find a friend who's a better artist than you and kind of go in as partners even, or even find financing on a place like Kickstarter, or even just putting your own money into it in the hopes that it does well. But I think, depending on what your friend wants to do, either specializing or just making the animation yourself and putting it up for free are both equally valid approaches to getting your stuff out there and getting noticed.
Hi, Rock. So I've binge watched all your shorts and I love them. But one of the projects that I especially liked was your random comic generator, and I've spent a lot of time on that. Wasted a lot of time on that, and I'm not sad that I have. So are there any such projects apart from this that are coming, apart from your regular comics and shorts?
Actually, it's funny you mentioned the random comic generator. How many of you have used our random comic generator? Cool. Yeah, that's one of my favorite projects. We did that about a year ago. And I think there's something like 50 million combinations now. And it's funny you mentioned that because our next big project is turning that into a card game. It's very similar to Cards Against Humanity, where the goal is to finish the comic, and it's got all of the random comic panels as cards. So that's one of our next big projects. That's going to happen in January. We're going to get that out. Apart from that, our big project right now is the next season of the Cyanide and Happiness show, and that's going to be coming out in January. And in the process of writing season 1, we accidentally wrote about a dozen new TV show ideas. So we're hoping at some point this year to make some of them into scripts, animatics, and hopefully fly over to LA and pitch some of these new properties to TV networks to see if anyone's interested.
Hey Rob, glad to see you in Delhi. I've in fact two questions. One is your comics has a lot of violence. It has a lot of adultery as well. How do you deal with negativities? One. Two, if you look at Simpsons or the Family Guy or any other comics, what they have is the designs are really complex. What made you choose the simple way ahead?
Okay, the first question was how do I deal with negativity for some of our offensive comics? The answer is honestly we don't really get a lot of negativity. In the early days we would get tons of hate mail, like almost every week, but it's kind of trickled off over the years. I'm not sure if it's because like the comedy climate is changing, or if it's because people have given up on the idea that sending emails will somehow make us stop. So we don't get much hate mail, and honestly, when we make cartoons and comics, we're never really trying to offend. We're trying to make something that makes us laugh. And if it happens to be offensive, I mean, so be it. I mean, we're offensive people probably, so I'm sure it comes through in our work. But our ultimate goal is to make ourselves laugh and to make everybody else laugh. And we happen to make some dark content in the process. The second part of the question was why stick figures? I think stick figures for us, they offer a lot of flexibility. There's stuff we can do in animation that would be next to impossible if it were a full 3D or if it were full body animation. It affords us a lot of opportunities to do these crazy action sequences and stuff on the kind of budgets that we're accustomed to, which are not super great. We're working off YouTube ad revenue, which is historically it barely supports vloggers, let alone full production of animation. So we're very fortunate that our stick figure art style is pretty quick to animate compared to some other stuff out there like The Simpsons and Futurama. And also I think stick figures allow a lot of ridiculous facial expressions that are really easy to kind of attach to because of the simplicity. Like you're just looking at eyes and the mouth, which lets you portray a vast amount of facial expressions that are very relatable and funny. 5 more minutes? I'll take about 1 or 2 more questions, then I want to show you another cartoon.
Hi. So you have a lot of content and it keeps coming. Do you ever get stuck or run out of ideas? How do you deal with that?
Yes, I have writer's block all the time, almost every day. And the way I get over it, it varies. I have a lot of techniques. But the trick to writing and creating in general is to know what makes you creative. There's no one way. Even for one person, there's no one way to get out of it. And for me, it's either hanging out with friends, taking a walk, sitting down with a piece of paper, just completely by myself. It's a process. It's a process of processes. It's trying to figure out the process that works for you on that day. So for me, oftentimes it'll be hanging out with friends or talking with my co-writers on Skype and just rattling off ideas until I get my creative energy going. So it really depends. It depends on a lot of things.
It's happening in January, starting in January.
Let's go ahead and show the very last video since we just have 4 minutes left. This is from season 2, by the way. Never before seen.
Yogini, here you go from season 2.
Just giving you folks a heads up.
There's no video.
Just giving you folks a heads up. Looks like we're gonna get in about 30 minutes late.
30 minutes late? Back in my day, airplanes got there on time, and they rode across the terrain instead of the sky. We called them terrain planes, or trains for short.
Can I get you something to drink?
Give me a 12 of whiskey and a big old cigar.
You can't smoke, sir.
If this were a train, everyone would be smoking. Hell, even the train. Those were the days. Tearing across the open country, 3 cigars in your mouth, and all the time in the world.
So, Diet Coke?
Sit down, Missy. I'm gonna sing you a song. I wanna share a tale with you about the American dream. When all the railroads ran on time and our nation ran on steam. Behind the tracks and railroad ties, a hero took command of connecting every town, and he was called the Railroad Man. Railroad Man. Railroad take me to San Fran? Can you take me down to Tennessee and across the Rio Grande? Can you take me up Mount Everest and into Disneyland? Can you get me there on time? Oh, can you do it, Railroad Man?
Guys, sorry, that song's just too dang catchy.
Now you're probably wondering why they called him the Railroad Man.
I think you explained it pretty well.
I'm gonna tell you why. They called him that because he built the railroads and was male. And they called them railroads because they were like roads except with rails.
Cool, thanks for clarifying.
His eyes, they say, were made of coal. His toes were railroad spikes. His trains had 7 stars on Yelp and a billion Facebook likes. That's right, a billion.
What happened next?
Shut up, kid! I'm the one singing!
I wasn't...
He laid all up the track, you see, hooked up the USA. And he could have kept on going if not for that fateful day. These two weird fellas came to town and invented human flight. They called their ship an aeroplane and themselves Brothers Right. Brothers Right. They said, our planes can transfer man without the need for rail. Your industry is dying and your dream's going to fail. So pull up your slacks and pack your tracks and get on out of town. We don't need steam or steel beams to get ourselves around. The Railroad Man was none too pleased about that. He said, 2 rights don't make a right, dang if that ain't wrong. Hey, that lyric ain't half bad, I hope it ends up in a song. If God intended man to fly, we'd be born in a flock. Those Wright brothers and their flight machine can go and suck a cock. Those Wright brothers can sniff my bib, they can give my ass a smell. They can lick my shaft from fore to aft, and their plane can burn in hell. Excuse the language, folks, but that's what the Railroad Man said. His fucking words. The Wright brothers, they challenged him, they said, you think you're great? Can your steam trains do a loop-de-loop without losing the freight? If you do it, we'll leave town, and we won't ever come back. But if you fail, you can take your rail and shove it up your crack. No, the hell with you, Wright brothers. The sky's for birds, and the ground's for turds, and you, sir, are the latter word. Railroad Man, can you rise to their demand? When your trains do a loop-de-loop, can they do it all on land? Wilbur's talking smack about your track, or those railing on your rails. Can you kick their ass with steam and brass and 8-inch steel nails, Railroad Man? Say, that was a pretty good transition. Anyway, the Railroad Man, he spent a month looping up his track. Then he gathered up the townsfolk and he told them to stand back. The train had started chugging and the loop-de-loop drew near.